More and more fun bits just keep coming in for the Infiniti, and I could not be more excited. If you saw the last time that we touched the Infiniti, we were taking off the lower down pipes, getting rid of these big cats that it has on there right now, and putting in the AMS lower down pipes. But look at this, we got a fun package from MBRP, and as you can tell from the title of this video, it is an exhaust. Yes, it is finally here. We can put an exhaust on this because after putting on those lower down pipes, I'm sure a lot of you can tell it was a little bit underwhelming. So with the addition of this exhaust, it should make this thing sound a lot sportier. I think it'll really match the look of this car. You know, sports coupe, it should sound a lot more aggressive, and with the help of this exhaust, I think that we're gonna accomplish that. And I also am excited for this because I think it's gonna be a lot easier to install than those lower down pipes. These newer cars just have like such compacted engine bays that every single nut, every single bolt that you try to get to is just so tight in there that like it just makes an installation process take 2 times as long. But that's just a symptom of working on these new cars. But this exhaust, from what I saw, there's just 2 hangers you gotta take off on each side, a couple bolts you have to undo, so I'm excited. Play this short exhaust clip that I took after putting on the lower down pipe so you guys can hear what it sounds like now. Then we'll go ahead, chuck on this exhaust, and we can hear what it sounds like now. So it does sound pretty restrictive. We for sure need an exhaust on this car. So let me get it up in the air quick so that way we can detach the one that's on the car right now. Let's go ahead and unbox this thing quick though, see what it looks like. Okay, you guys have to bear with me a little. The garage is a little bit messy because I got a bunch of stuff hidden that I can't show you guys yet because it's coming in a future video. And also got things like this huge pressure washer wand out and a new dryer and stuff, but I'm guessing that this is gonna be an exhaust tip. Yeah, so it looks like these boxes are gonna be our exhaust tips. Look at that bad boy. It's got the MBRP logo on it. You know, directions are pretty helpful because it says right on here which way you should line it up so that way the pipes all match up. So this all starts with the lower down pipes that we put on, so it connects here, goes in, then you connect to this X pipe, then we go back and it separates out to these mufflers. We can see from it, it shouldn't be that hard to put on. I mean, we just gotta attach those bolts that are up there. There's just a hanger there, hanger in the back. Just have to attach these 2 together so it doesn't like rattle as much, I'm guessing. But yeah, really shouldn't be that bad at all to put on, hopefully. Let's go ahead and jack this car up so we can go ahead and take that old one off and get this new one put on. This is the first bolt that we gotta take off. It comes from the front downpipe, the lower downpipe. You can kind of see the one on the other side. So we gotta take that off first, then pull this one off in the back, and that's how you take the whole Y pipe off. Then there's this like cross brace, as you can see right there. It's just 4 bolts and it should pop right out. Alright, this might sound stupid, but I think I might just try and pull it off the hangers and see if I can get the whole thing to just drop. Because like I showed you guys before, there's just 4 hangers that it's sitting on, and after removing that plate off of it, it's pretty much all exposed. So I wonder if I just pulled it all off of the hangers, if it would just give. So far, everything is going according to plan, so I was able to get these 2 hangers, if you can see, off. So now we just have to go up here and get those hangers off of each side. So I'm not even gonna bother unbolting the whole entire exhaust. I'm just gonna drop those hangers off and then I'll just slide it out, and then the new exhaust we can bolt up as we do it, coming from the front to the back, because I think that'll be simpler than trying to push the whole thing up into there. So we can actually assemble the new exhaust. But for this one, I'm just gonna knock it off all the hangers and then rip it off because that seems easiest to me. Guys, if you're also trying to put an exhaust on your Q60, I would honestly recommend this over trying to just unbolt stuff while it's up there. Unless you have a car lift, maybe it'd be easier. But for me, working on the floor here, it was easiest for me to disconnect from the down pipe to where it goes to the Y pipe first. And then it's really easy to just take them off the hangers if you just have like a flathead screwdriver. And now, okay, it's obviously stuck in between my jack right now, but it's a lot easier to take out these bolts now that it's sitting here like this, so I can actually like get a grip on everything. And like, I would honestly recommend this if you're trying to swap out the exhaust on your Q60. But yeah, I just gotta disconnect it here so I can get it off, since I don't want to have to take the jack out and then jack it back up again. But after I do that, we're ready to start bolting up the new exhaust. All right, so I got the old exhaust off the car, and as you can tell, look how restrictive this thing is. This thing is 2.5 inch, I believe, but it looks so small for some reason. I mean, just look at the Y pipe right there. These new ones are huge compared to that. And then as you go throughout it, This doesn't have any resonators on it, it just has mufflers, so we'll see if there's any rasp or anything. From what I've read, there might be a little bit of rasp in like the 2500 to 3000 RPM range, like just for a little bit. If you're like giving it some gas or something in that range, you'll hear it a little bit, but we'll see how bad it is. I don't know, just in general, I'm excited to get this on the car and just hear how it sounds, because I think it's gonna sound perfect. And I don't really care if there's a little bit of rasp. I mean, drive a WRX. I mean, I feel like that thing out there is a little bit raspy. But yeah, I'm excited to get this thing on the car, and what's good about these clamps that they have for it is that we can pretty much bolt this on first, which is what we're gonna do, is that we can just bolt this on first, so that way it's hanging up there, and then we can slide on the X pipe with the clamps, and we can just kind of loosely put them on there. And the same thing, we can just loosely put the clamps on the whole way back and make sure that the hangers are on. So that should give us a bunch of adjustability, so that way we make sure everything fits snugly and where it needs to, and also we can like rotate things if it doesn't fit exactly. So it's better than just like, I don't know, they just gave you one huge pipe like this and it was like, all right, now you just gotta fit it on there. But yeah, let's go ahead and start getting this put on. All right, so step one complete. We got those first pipes on there. Now onto the X pipe here. What we have to do first is slide these clamps back onto here, and they can just sit right back here on both sides. We'll slide this over top of what we already have, and then this will already be on there. So that allows us to be able to clamp it afterward and make sure we won't get any leaks or anything like that. And that's pretty much just how you build the whole entire thing. You know, for this section too, we'll slide the clamp on and keep it back here. Slide the pipe on, and then we'll tighten this clamp just a tiny bit with it on the hanger so that we can still adjust it afterward, because as you can see, the pipes look kind of good just how they are right now, but that's not exactly even. So once we actually get the fitment dialed in and everything, it should look a lot better, even though it does look pretty good right now. But that'll leave us some slack in the whole system so we can get everything all lined up good. You know, maybe we should just leave it like that. Nah, I'm just joking. So we just gotta bolt up this last piece of the muffler, and then we should be good to start clamping everything together and tighten those front bolts that come from the downpipe and get everything lined up and put together. And then after we do that, we should be good to give it a sound test. It is a super hot day out. I'm dripping sweat. It started raining on me in the middle of this for some reason, but that's gonna make it even more worth it to hear how this sounds whenever it's fully put on. All right, so as you can see, everything is now attached and it actually lines itself up. We gotta put the tips on still, but once you get everything lined up, it actually lines up the exhaust holes, so it's nice that you don't gotta really mess with those that much. So the next step that we have to do is getting these two things lined up loosely. There's a bolt that goes through it, and once we have that sort of kind of fitted together, we can just start bolting stuff up from the front and work our way back, and then get all the clamps bolted up, and we'll be good to go. All right, everybody, as you can see, just finished getting everything bolted up, got all the clamps done, bolted back up the front down pipes, and I have bolted these together. So the only thing left to do here is just put those tips on the back, and that's these bad boys right here. Again, they say MBRP on top. We're gonna have to use this to tighten it, and I believe that these are adjustable. So like, this is it just being on a tiny bit, and you can keep the MBRP logo out, but I don't know, personally, oh my god, you can put them in a lot. I don't know, I might try and keep them. Okay, obviously they need to turn. I might try and keep them so that way they're in line with maybe this point on the car. I don't know, we'll see what I decide. Guys, the exhaust is fully on the car right now. It still is in the air right now because I want to check for exhaust leaks afterward just to make sure that everything is tight. I don't want an exhaust leak or something that you smell like exhaust fumes whenever you're sitting in the cabin and stuff. You know, this is supposed to be classy. Remote start here, and we'll give it a first listen and see how it sounds. All right, everything should be set on the car, so let's give it the first cold start. I mean, it should be cold. Holy crap, just the whole bumper shake. Now that sounds a lot better. And you know what? Idling, it doesn't sound that loud, but I'm actually okay with that, because part of the obnoxious part, I feel like, with having a loud car is that you're just sitting at a light, or you're like taking off slowly, and it sounds like you're going 100 miles an hour, which for me is not desirable. But I think whenever we get up into like higher RPMs and stuff, this thing's gonna sound crazy. So let me check for exhaust leaks quick. I'm just gonna check at those different clamp points, make sure that we don't have any leaks anywhere, and then we can go out for a drive. I can give it some revs. All right, so I checked all the clamps. I checked where the down pipes connect to the Y pipe. Doesn't seem like there is any exhaust leaks in it, but I'm sure we'll be able to tell more so over time if we like if we hear something, smell something, you know, something like that. But yeah, let's get it off these jack stands, get it put down so we can go take it for a drive. All right, let's do a start from inside just to see how it sounds. Holy crap. It is rumbly. This car reminds me of the WRX by how much I hear the rumble. So let's go take it for a drive. We're probably not gonna feel any horsepower again because it's not tuned. You know, there's more exhaust flow, but I feel like really the car doesn't know exactly what to do with it unless we give it a tune. So not really gonna feel that much horsepower from those downpipes and then this exhaust, but we can at least see how it sounds. It does get a little raspy. This is with the windows down. It does sound good up high. Down low though, I can hear the raspiness and the... It sounds good. A little bit obnoxious. Pretty nasty. The other concern that I have though is whenever you're going like whenever I'm driving through the neighborhood and low speed, a little obnoxious. Like the car doesn't shift until like 2000 RPM and I feel like I'm being a little obnoxious. See how at like 2000 RPM, I don't know, it feels a little obnoxious for going 25 miles per hour before it shifts. See, it's just like, I don't know. That part about it is a little, but the rest of it, amazing. I love it. I think it sounds a lot better now. Alright guys, so I went and turned off this setting that apparently Infiniti has, and I think a lot of new car manufacturers are doing, where it'll play some of the exhaust sound or like fake exhaust sound through the speakers, so that way like your stock exhaust sounds sportier or something. So I'll show you guys how to disable that if you're kind of using this as a sort of tutorial. So the way that you got to do it is you got to first turn your audio off, so it should say audio off up there. Then you want to go to settings, you want to hit this seek button, 1, 2, 3. Hold your finger right underneath here. Alright, so there we go. Now we're on this screen. We go to confirmation and adjustment, go all the way down to the bottom, ANC, ASC. You do have to do a connection diagnosis first to show the settings, I believe. And then you want to disable ASC, so that's what plays those noises through your speakers, and I feel like it sounds a lot better with that disabled. It just kind of sounded like weird, I don't know, or like exceptionally loud for no reason, so I think it's a lot more helpful to turn that off. And then after you do that, you do have to turn the car off and then back on again for it to be working, but you can just go back to normal. Oh yeah, you'll see it'll do it right here. So after you hear that noise, it goes like a... Once you hear that noise, turn the car off, turn it on again, and then you should be all good. But one thing that I do have a gripe with is that raspiness at the low RPMs. I knew it was gonna be there. It's there on all these Nissan Infiniti cars, you know, the VQ, the VR. Doesn't always entirely respond well to exhausts, mostly just unresonated ones. So that's what I went ahead and ordered. I got 2 resonators so I can put one on each side of the car, and that should help to deflect some of those sound waves, because that is what your exhaust is, just a bunch of sound waves, and that raspiness comes from like once you delete the cats and everything, it's like, you know, you want your exhaust wave to flow like this, but those raspy sound waves come from the sound bouncing back and forth, and that's just very undesirable. And at low RPMs, like, it cleans up at like 3,000, maybe a little bit before, I'd say, but it doesn't make it as enjoyable to drive around when you're going and your RPMs are only from like 2,000 to 3,000. All that we need to do is just chuck those resonators on, and that'll be a future video. I just ordered ones from MBRP because I think that I could just cut the pipes and slide it on, because it does have like the MBRP one is already cut, so that way you can just clamp it onto an existing exhaust. I think they had it in mind for people who would want to just chop theirs and put a resonator on it. So it shouldn't affect the actual exhaust sound at all, because the resonator is still that 3-inch pipe. It just has like packing material around the outside, so the normal waves can flow through, but it helps to get rid of those really like jagged sound waves that create that rasp because of the packing material in it. All right, y'all, here we go. We can get a nice full throttle sound clip. See, once you get past 3,000 RPMs, it cleans itself up a lot. It sounds so much better. So I think if a resonator gets put on here, you hear it. That's the no-no noise. Once we get a resonator put on this thing, I think it's gonna be perfect. So I'm excited for when that comes, because then the exhaust will be fully just, perfect.